Hello guys, this is John. This is going to be lecture 5, so let's get started. Okay, so far we went over our models, setting up our models and showing it on our front page and using our query set. So now we're going to go over how to access all these forms, how to make forms and display in our front end page. So what that's going to look like is, if you go to Safari, it's going to go look like this. So we're going to have like title form, context form, after form, initial form, and checklist form like that. Okay, and now let's get started. Okay, so let's see. So far, let me deactivate this first. Okay, so I'm currently inside my virtual environment, and then I'm gonna activate my virtual environment by saying source bin activate, and then I'm gonna go into source, and then let's say Python manage.py run server, and then basically this is what you should have so far. So this is up to lecture 4, and this is what you should be handing in for your homework. Okay, so now let's get started and try to make forms for our website. So let's open up our code. Okay, and then this is basically what we have so far. So inside our home page we have models, we have views, and now we're actually going to create one more file inside our home page, and that's going to be called forms.py. You can name it something else if you want to, but I just like calling it forms because that's basically what we're making. So let's do that right now. So inside so we have hello world directory, and we also have homepage directory. And inside your homepage directory, you're going to create a file called forms.py. Okay. Okay. So we now have forms.py set up. Okay. And so our forms.py is going to be using our models.py, right? So we are actually going to have to import our models.py, and other than that, we also have to import like forms that is built in our Django. Okay, so to import forms per se, you have to write the following code. So from Django import forms, and then you're also going to say from Django.forms, and then basically what this means is that inside our Django we're accessing forms, and we're going to import model form. Okay, so there. So now we have two imports. So I'm going to say these are all going to be Django imports. Okay, and then now we're actually going to import our models. So model import above, and this, as you know, is just basically me commenting my code. Okay, so I'm going to say from dot models import blog. And remember, the reason why I said dot models is because our models.py is located in the same directory as our homepage. Okay, and the reason why I said blog is because our models.py's class is actually called blog. Okay, and if you name that as I said before, if you named it something else, name whatever you named it. Okay. Okay, so inside our forms, we're actually going to create another class. Okay, so we're going to say class. I'm going to say blog post, and then model form, like that. And the reason why I capitalize it, so usually when I write functions, I put a lowercase in the beginning, but whenever I do a class, I tend to make the first letter capitalized. That's just my style. If you don't want to do that, you can choose to do whatever you want. But yeah, anyways, this model form is exactly the same as the model form we wrote here, and so on. Okay, and now inside our class, I'm going to say class meta, and then we're actually going to have to define our model, like the model that we're using. So I'm going to create a line called model equals blog. And basically what this line means is that we're basically saying, oh, the model we're using is from our blog class. So if you name this something else, you're going to have to name this something else. So for example, if this model was blogs like that, you're going to have to say blogs, like, and so on. But since we named it blog, I'm going to name it blog in our forms.py. Okay. So so let's go back to our models.py. And if you go to models.py, you see all these like title, context, after, initial. So so the thing about our forms.py is we actually have to specify all the elements that we're using. So the way you do that is by doing the following thing. So field equals. Then you're gonna make a list. So title, context, and then what was it? After and initial. So make sure you put commas here because it's a list, and put a quotation mark there. Okay, so let's say you only want to use title, or let's say you only want to use title and context. In that case, you will just delete all these two things, and then you'll only deal with title and context. So you can do it this method, or you can also say exclude title, and what that means is that it's going to include everything except for title. So another method is let's say you want to include everything in your models. The way you do that is by doing like an empty list like that. So you can do it both ways. Like if you have too many things in your models, like for example, we have only 4 things like this, like title, context, after, initial. If you have like 20 of them, maybe using exclude thing would be better because typing out all those things would just take too long. But yeah, for the sake of our thing, I'm actually going to use 2. Okay. So now I'm going to click save, and there, our forms.py is done. So now we have to display our forms inside our HTML file. And remember, whenever we deal with the HTML file, views.py basically connects our Django to our HTML file. So we're actually going to have to import our forms inside our views.py. Okay, so go to your views.py located inside your home page. Then you're going to write the following line. You're also going to have to import forms just like how you imported models. Okay, so I'm going to say from .forms, because our forms is again located in the same directory as views.py. And I'm going to say import blog post. And did I spell blog post with an S? Or? Okay, blog post without the S. Okay, and you can do it this way, or you can say star, and that way you'll be importing everything in forms.py. So remember, star basically means you're importing everything in that file. So if you have more than one classes in your file, this star will include everything in that file. Okay. So now we're actually going to have to import and have to define our thing called form. And the way we're going to do that is just say form equals blog post. Okay, like that. And yeah, because we named it blog post like that. Okay, so we did that. And then so I'm going to make a comment here. This is our form. Okay. And then inside our context, we're going to actually have to create a variable called form. Okay, and then this is going to be form because that's what we named. And make sure you put a comma here, or else it's not going to work with other things. Okay, so bam, we are done. Okay, so let's see. I believe that's everything we have to do here. Okay, so our views.py is done, and then but later on we're going to change something here. I'll show you later on. Okay, now let's go to our templates and go to home.html. Okay, so here at the top, I'm going to put it at the top. Using a mustache format, I'm going to say form because that's what we named here. So the reason why we say form is because of this, not this. So this is the important thing. Okay, so in the mustache format, I'm going to say form. I'm going to click save here, click save in my forms.py, and let's see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to actually make migration just to be safe. Then Python manage.py migrate just to be safe. Python manage.py run server to see if everything's working. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to our page. Oops. It looks like we made an indentation error somewhere. So views.py line 11. So let's go to our views.py line 11. Oh, I see. Okay, so as you can see, the reason why I have an indentation error is because this is annoying. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make indentation into all these things. Okay. Python has this weird indentation thing, so make sure you fix that pretty well. And let's see, we have another error. Blog posts need. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna go check admin quickly. Oh, I see. Oh, I think the problem is derived from our settings.py. Nope, that's not it. I wonder what's wrong. Oh, blog post needs updating. Okay, so something's wrong with our forms.py. So let's see. Blog post, we named it correctly. Blog post. Models, everything's fine. Views.py. I'm gonna put blog post here just to be safe. Okay. Then I'll click refresh. Oh, maybe settings.py. Okay, I'm gonna make an edit here, and then I'm gonna come back. Oh, okay, so I found the error. The reason is, if you go to your views.py, we actually have to put something inside our parentheses. Okay. So, inside this, we're gonna have to say request.post. Oh, with a capital O's like that. I'm gonna click save and I'm gonna click refresh. And that should fix some things. Okay. I found the error. The error was actually from our spelling mistake here. So make sure you put a fields here. If you don't, the error message is going to pop up saying fields. So I spelled field without an S. So make sure you put an S there. And that should fix everything. Okay, and oops. Okay, cool. So that fixed everything, and bam, this is what should appear. And as you can see, it is kind of messy. It is saying that this field is required, this field is required. Basically what that's saying is Django actually does something pretty cool, meaning that when a field is not typed, it's going to give this error message. But ideally, we want it to we want the thing to not say this field is required when the user didn't input anything, right? So the way you're going to do that is you go to views.py, and then in here you're going to say or none. Oh, none, like that. And by saying or none, when there's no input, it's going to go away. And actually, let's make this a bit more nicer. So in our forms, I'm actually going to exclude one instead of a field one. Okay, and that's gonna display everything that I have. And in my home.html, I'm gonna say .asp like that. And what that means is .aspi basically means as paragraph. So if you don't have this, excuse me, if you don't have this, it's gonna look kind of ugly because each thing's not in the same line. So if you stretch this out, it's gonna be in like one line. And by saying .asp, it's gonna be in a paragraph format like this. So now it looks nicer. And remember, our forms.py I did exclude, and let's see, in views.py I put or none here because if I don't, it's gonna look like this, saying this field is required, this field is required. So by saying or none, all that thing is just going to disappear. Okay. Okay. So so this is form. You can kind of stretch this out too, and let's try using our form, shall we? Okay. So I'm gonna say title, and context, and then after, and bam, and then let's click save. Oh, we don't have a save button. Okay. So that's a problem. Okay, so let's try creating a save button now. And the way you're going to do that is actually by using HTML code. So there are multiple ways of creating a button, but I'm basically going to focus on making like the simplest button as possible. And so let's do that right now. Okay, so let's go to our home.html, and above your form mustache here, we're going to write the following code. So open bracket like that, and then form method equals post, and then action equals that. And okay, so let's see. So the reason why I'm not putting any action is because we're actually going to be using a CSRF token. What that is if you look up CSRF token, that is cross-site request forgery. If you want to look into more of it, you can kind of Google it and you'll see what it looks like. Oops. Yeah, you can see what it looks like, but we're not going to focus on that because you can do that by yourself. Okay. So after that, you're going to put this here, and then underneath that, we're now going to have an input button. So basically what this does is we're basically making everything inside this bracket here as making that considered as a form. So inside that, I'm going to create a button by saying input type equals submit. And then you can kind of name the button also. If you have multiple buttons, you can name it. So name equals button 1. And then you're going to say value equals save, like that. And you're also going to have to close the bracket by doing a slash here, and then close bracket. Okay? And then we're going to have to close our form like that. Okay, and after that, let's see what it looks like by hitting refresh. Okay, so now we have a save button. Oh, okay, now we have a save button, and when you click save, you can see it says CSRF verification failed, request aborted. That is because we forgot to use CSRF token. And the way you do that is at the end of this line, you're going to put a Jinja format. So remember, this is a mustache and Jinja is this. Okay? So this is Jinja. But yeah, inside here, you're going to put CSRF token like that. And that should be it. Let's see. Okay, now click save. Oops. Now click save. Oh gosh. Now click save. Where did it go? And then we're going to refresh this. Oops. Oh gosh. Sorry. We're going to refresh this. And there. Now we have everything. So our save button should work. Or it's working because it's saying this field is required. Okay, so now let's try propagating our data. Just like in the lecture, I'm going to name this Starman by David Bowie. Okay, and we're going to look up Starman David Bowie. Oops. Oh god. Lyrics. And then I'm going to copy the chorus because chorus is the most awesome part of this song. Okay, so there. Now we have a context. And I'm going to do something really bad by putting random things here, random things here. And you will notice that when you click save, this is not going to let us save anything because we're not typing in the correct format. So here, now as you can see, our Django is actually correcting us, saying that enter a valid date and time. The reason why we can't just put in random text is because in our models.py, our after and initial class has a date time field. This means that you have to input date time field. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to say 2000 or whatever that like that. So that's a valid date time format like that. Okay. So now everything should be good. We got a nice little context here. I'm going to say course. Okay. So oops, not save. Now I'm going to click save. Here, bam. And it doesn't say that it is saved yet, but it is saved. And the way you're going to check that is by going into your admin. Okay, so I'm going to go in and go to logs. Oops, it looks like nothing is there. Let's see what is happening. Oh, I know what's happening. That is because in our views.py, we actually didn't make a save file, we didn't create any save line, okay? So let's create a save line in our views.py. So I mean, so far we only have a form. We didn't actually write any lines of code saying that save button means save, okay? So this is what you're gonna do. Underneath your form, like that, I'm going to just write a comment to myself saying that underneath is save code, okay? Then I'm going to say, oops, above is save code. So now we know everything here is a save code, okay? So here, we're actually going to write like a standard if statement in Python. So if form dot is valid, and the reason I said form is because that is the name of the variable name that I used here. If you name this variable something else like forms, you're going to have to say forms like that, okay? So there. If form is valid, empty input, then put an indent here. I'm going to say variable of R as a variable. You know, you can name it something else. You can name it like, I don't know, poop. Okay. That's a bad stuff, but okay. I'm going to say poop because, you know, why not? Poop equals form.save, and then I'm going to say commit equals false. And underneath, I'm going to say poop.save. And then I'm going to actually save this code. Bam. Okay, so this should be everything that you have to do to make your form save. Okay, so let's go test it out. I'm going to save this file. And then I'm going to unfortunately have to refresh this again and type in the same thing again. So starman. And I just copied and pasted it, and then 2016, and then bam. Then let's see if that works. Cool. So I'm going to click save. And then bam, do you see that? A new element appeared in our query set instantly, like that. So now we know for sure that it is saved just by looking at the front end too. So if I click save again, it's actually going to do the thing again here. Bam, 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 bam. You can see it's like propagating our database. Another way to check it is by going to our admin and click logs. You can see all these like new things. So you can actually click it, see the thing that's happening. You can even delete it if you want. But yeah, so later on, we're actually going to make our admin page look a bit nicer. So far, it's only displaying the title. And the reason why it's only displaying the title is because in our models.py, we're using a Unicode and we're using self.title. So that's the reason why we're only seeing the title. If you want to edit the admin, we'll go over that later. But yeah, that's what we have so far. So let's go back to our front page. Yeah, so we now have a form working. Yeah, so we now have a form working. Like it's working pretty well, but it looks kind of ugly. So next lecture, I'm going to be going over how to import like a Bootstrap to make your website look better. And we're also going to talk about how to put authentication in our website, so making our login page and logout page or stuff like that. Okay, so that's it, and I hope this video helped, and I'll see you guys next time.